Hey guys, so this video is about product metrics, and there are about four concepts that I'm going to talk about. So let's start with number one. One of the common questions that I face, or one of the common situations that I face when trying to define the metrics that we need to measure for a new feature that we're going to launch, and how should we really think about it. One of the common patterns that I have seen is that a feature doesn't get discovered, and then if it gets discovered, then it doesn't get adopted, and if it is trialed by certain segment of users, sometimes we don't see enough engagement, and sometimes the outcome for that feature or the value that it was supposed to offer to users, it is not being it is something which users are not able to get that outcome. So yeah, I came up with this framework of DAOE, and which D stands for a metric for discoverability, and A stands for a metric for adoption, and O stands for outcome of that particular feature, and E stands for engagement. So there should be enough engagement. So if there is enough engagement, then you can also think of it as a proxy metric for returning users. So there will be repeat usage of your product or feature as well. So think about DAOE, which is discoverability, adoption, outcome, and engagement. The second concept is I don't remember the name of that gentleman, Dev McClure, I guess, from 500 Startups. He came up with R, and it's a very good and concise mental model of thinking about a product metric, which captures essentially all components of building a business, which is acquisition, activation, retention, revenue, and referral. I wouldn't expand on that because it's pretty evident. The third concept is about launching a new feature. When you're trying to launch a new feature, and you are evaluating whether you should launch a particular feature or not, how should you think about it? I found ICE framework pretty useful in that context. I stands for impact, C stands for confidence, and E stands for ease of implementation. So what you do is that you try to find out the business metric that this particular feature is gonna move, and that will be represented in I. And the confidence is really dependent on many different things. You might have to contextualize it. For example, if you are launching a particular product in a new region, think about competition, think about barrier of entry, and think about your ability to kind of execute on that as well, because and that involves like go to market and your ability to kind of deliver on the promises. And so think that confidence captures all of those elements, and define a number around it, which is a kind of positive number from 1 to 10 or something like that. And then same with ease of effort, and then try to kind of calculate as an average of I plus C plus E upon 3. And think about it that if the score is higher, then you might have to kind of prioritize that particular feature, that particular launch, or that particular initiative. So you can see that all these three kind of quantities, impact, confidence, and ease of effort, are unidirectional. So yeah, that's another kind of handy framework. And the last one, the fourth one that I'm going to talk about, is dealing with BAUs. One of the useful framework that I have developed is about really two steps, and the third step is just a parallel one. So let's talk about the first step. The first step is to find out number of users that are impacted by a particular bug or a feature request or whatever. And the second part of the first step is about frequency of that particular feature, and try to come up with a number which is kind of when you try to multiply a number of users impacted by the frequency of usage, then you come up with a score, and that will give you a way of ranking all these kind of features and bugs and issues. And then in the step 2, try to find out that whether a critical flow is being impacted when you have prioritized all this kind of list of issues. And a critical flow could be a payment which is being disrupted, or a login flow which has been disrupted, or or anything else which is very critical for your business, and try to kind of prioritize those items where a critical flow is being impacted, which is kind of a important business disruption, and that you will have to kind of prioritize, and you will have to kind of prevent. And once you have gotten that, I think parallelly you try to also think about anything which is a threat to business continuity, for example any legal compliance related things, and you really have to make progress on that. So you also try to kind of put that thing in the bucket, and then try to see that how can you really make progress on that as well. So this is like a rationality filter, and try to you can come up with a score for all of these things by kind of associating that how much money is at stake and things like that. But I think there's a pretty kind of a loose framework that you can apply. So start with number of users, multiply it with the frequency of usage of that particular feature, then apply a rationality filter of if there is any critical flow is being impacted, and then also look at any compliance regulatory stuff that you need to prioritize, and then put them in order and make sure that all stakeholders are aligned, and then you start executing. A common way of example to realize it, that let's say that you are managing a subscription based business which is like a content business like Netflix and or something like that. If you look at a subscription business, the subscription payments are happening maybe once in a month, so frequency of usage of payment is low, but maybe all users are being impacted, and it's a critical thing for business as well, so you need to kind of prioritize it. Although the factor that you will get by multiplying number of users impacted and the frequency, it will not be very high in comparison to, let's say that there is another feature where subtitles are not being shown, so all users are impacted, but subtitles are also something which come up in all videos and all movies that people are watching. Although the score will be very high for that, but I think it's not, if you really compare it with payments being blocked, it's not as critical as payments being blocked. So similarly, you can think about login, and you can think about, let's say that, there is some compliance related stuff that you really have to kind of do, otherwise you won't be able to accept payments. And again, it's something which is impacting the business continuity, or maybe there's some content which has to be removed because it is being kind of, shown to kids, content category. Anything like that which is a threat to business continuity, your brand reputation, and you can put a number around it. So you can also kind of prioritize those kind of things and make sure that you publish the prioritized list of features that other business stakeholders can review it, and then start executing. So hope you find it useful.